Monday, 14th September, it is. Thank you very much for watching WTV, and I hope that you're enjoying your Monday afternoon. Now, this is the news review segment where we discuss some of the top stories that have made it to print media, and not just the top stories, because for a very long time, the media has been based on the philosophy that what bleeds should lead. Here at WTV, we want to change the script. We want to change this narrative by saying that what answers need should lead. And now I'm going to have a solutions-based conversation with one of the news anchors as we look at some of the top stories that have made it this week. Thank you very much, Nelly, for finding time for us.
Thank you too, it's an honor.
Talking about the top stories, what do you have from your end?
We have the police war on terror in Mombasa, Kisauni. And also we're looking at Waigoro's dockets. I don't know what you think about that. That's a topic that we need to look at, how she's been doing her role in the society, engaging the youth and all that. Basically, yeah, that's major.
Oh, and I would really like us to look at the first story that you've mentioned about matter security, because you know one of the primary role of any government anywhere in the world is to protect its citizens. And a government that fails in this mandate is definitely a failed government. So when we see police raiding some places in Kisauni in the name of fighting terror, maybe you can give us more details concerning that story as well.
Yes, actually it's a good thing that the government must be able to take care of its people, but then how it's done should also matter, because for instance the residents of Kisauni are really complaining that a number of about 50 heavily armed policemen, they come to raid their homes in search of a terrorist. I think it should be done a little bit better. The major complaint is the fact that they feel that they're being brutalized, and also the chief in those areas have no idea that a raid is going to happen. So at least when a preparation has been done to the other arm of government, it is much easier. But then it is the role of the police to guard the citizens and everything.
Talking about guarding the citizens, the bone of contention has always been where to draw the line. When we see these operations, and even IPOA, this is the Independent Police Oversight Authority, at one point has been under heavy criticism on how it manages this kind of human rights and all that when these operations are being carried. And the residents of Kisauni, their case is police are using excessive force. But let me ask you, when you look on the other side of the coin and see that when the terrorists now want to strike, they always use excessive force.
Exactly, and that's where even the major complaint, even the area SEPT had no idea that this operation was going to happen. Chances of even the terrorists themselves sneaking in through the whole mess is very high, because when the force is too much and people are being brutalized, are being treated indecently, then it becomes a totally different ballgame, because at the end of it all, you are supposed to secure these people. You're not supposed to brutalize them or even harass them. The idea is to have a plan with the area LCPD or even the area chiefs, and then be able to guard and protect and secure the people and pull out or root out the people that you're looking for.
And this brings me to the point of Nyumba Kumi initiative. This is one of the projects that the government is really trying to embrace. And you know, the person who has been spearheading that for a very long time, that is Peter Kaguthi, has always insisted on knowing your neighbor, hence the Nyumba Kumi initiative. And I'm left wondering if this Nyumba Kumi can be embraced. I think we can avoid such scenarios because of one major reason. We see a situation whereby the anti-terrorism police unit, that is ATPU, raiding Kisauni, and the residents of that place don't know even the area OCPD. So you are left wondering, do you know your neighbor really? Because the residents there were claiming that he's just a businessman.
Oh yes, yeah. Actually, it's actually Nyumba Kumi is a bit tricky, because, for instance, in our area, we are about six families.
Yes.
And people keep coming in and leaving, and for every new person who comes, we get to introduce ourselves, and they say, I'm a business person, or I work with this and this company, and we leave it at that. So you'll only see interactions between our kids and us, even when you're just getting at home early in the morning. But the core business, what that person is doing, you're not aware. So I think Nyumba Kumi is a good initiative, but then the follow-up, I don't know who's supposed to do it.
The follow-up. And of course, that's a wake-up to the government that is as we embrace Nyumba Kumi initiative, maybe the follow-up after that, after I know my neighbor, after I report, what happens? Because for a very long time, we've had also citizens complain that when they report certain cases, they end up like now they are also being followed up to give more information.
Very true.
So I think we also need to develop a culture whereby the common mwananchi and the police will have to come together in this thing of community policing, so that I don't feel like once I give information, I may be followed up as well. Because you know what? They say if your friend's character is not clear, just look at his friends.
Yes.
And basically you will know the kind of a person that he is. Of course, we've been talking about that story where police raided a home in Kisauni in the name of flashing out a terrorist and trying to get to the bottom line when it comes to the war on terror. And you can always tell us what you think. Our SMS line, as you can see on your screen, is 20058. On Twitter, you'll find us there at WTVK. Use the hashtag news review so that we can be in a position to trace your conversation. Let's move on to another story. And this is what you mentioned concerning the Ministry of Devolution and
Yes.
Anne Waiguru. Just last week, she came up with a list. Not a long time ago, we were talking about 800 million that was about to be transferred to a certain account.
Yes.
But then CS herself, Anne Waiguru, said she suspected someone was about to hack the system, and so no money was lost.
Yes.
But we were just about to lose 800 million Kenya shillings. So investigations were carried out, and now the report is out. So we saw her a few days ago coming to the public and saying, you know what? These are the names of those people that were involved in that fraud.
Yes.
But then she has got a lot of criticism, especially from the members of opposition.
Yes. Yes.
And I think they are just observing their job description. That's what I think, opposing the government. And
Yes.
their case is, and to be very specific, Raila Odinga, this is the leader of the opposition, called leader, is saying that he has evidence and he believes that Anne Waiguru's name was deleted on the list of shame that was presented some times back. I don't know your reaction concerning that, because mixed reactions there from members of public as well as government.
I think as even President Barack Obama said, a person who tries to tear up a government is an enemy. Number two, it's always good for once to look at the positive things that are happening in the society, to celebrate the good things that even Waiguru's docket has been doing. Look at the young people who have benefited. I remember there's a time I was in Kibera and I couldn't believe myself that the roads are well done, structures are well done, the place is being manned by NYS. As much as there's a lot of criticism, there's also what has she done?
What has she
Yeah,
done?
what has she done? And it's amazing. The job is good. I remember us walking from one area to another in peace, not worried that your handbag will be taken away or, not scared about anything. People are in businesses. Young people have gotten into businesses because the opportunity is there. They've known where to get the funds, the youth funds, to be able to, propel their lives. So when you look at the little things that, her name is not in the list, her name should have been in the list, those are petty. For me, it's very petty politics, actually.
Talking of petty politics.
You don't have to comment on everything, eh?
No, really, when we everywhere and when we talk of 800 million Kenya shillings being mentioned, one would argue that that's not petty. And looking at the positive side of it, of course, give credit where it's due. We've seen the revamping of the NYS project. And by the way, the code leader is also saying, and some other people in the opposition, talking of the teacher strike, and the teachers are saying they want money, which is not there. We're going to talk about that. But some members of the opposition are saying that, in fact, that money which is meant for those NYS projects, where we have a lot of corruption taking place, they can be taken to pay the teachers.
Well, I think that's a topic of discussion from also from their end and see how
from that quarter. But then there are those who feel rather that Anne Waiguru is being attacked because she is a woman. What do you think concerning that?
I think she's being attacked for the docket she's holding, because it's a very powerful docket, number one. And I think also sometimes when you do good, and you work so hard, people really just want to attack you, and they just want to tear you up, and they want to see you, standing up, because maybe they're afraid she might say, I want to be the president in a few years to come. So they're just trying to weaken her, things like that. So,
But also something else that I would also really like us to look at when you talk of the Ministry of Devolution and all the projects that are taking place there, there is the list that was released by Anne Wiguru in regards to the fraud. These are the people that attempted to transfer these 800 billion plus, who are involved in that scandal. And many people will be looking to see the action that will be taken. Because for a very long time, we've had people being taken to the Anti-Corruption Commission. But at the end of the day, they just get away with it.
It's true. And it's very unfortunate, because our development is based on even on action, the actions that we're taking. Once you see something is going wrong, corruption, bad activities in the society, penalize the people who are involved. But if it doesn't happen, then it becomes a sad story, because we won't be able to progress and develop as we plan to.
Well, let's now move on to another story. And despite the fact that we have a lot of negative stories talking of the police raids in Kisauni, fighting terrorism, the corruption, where we have now a list being submitted. These were the people that were involved in that scandal. There is a lot to celebrate about Kenya. We want to look at the brighter side of things. And this is why we are talking about the Kenya being elected to UN tourism body. That's a good news. That's good news, rather.
This is great news, because number one, Kenya, we've been really hit hard because of the terrorism. And some countries, telling their people, hey, don't go to Kenya, it's a hotbed of terrorism and things like that. But this is such good news, because for the fact that we've been elected in the UN Tourism Agency, which is the highest, the highest UN, one of the highest UN bodies in the tourism organization. It's an amazing thing. And every time I see tourist attraction sites, yes, I wonder, do Kenyans travel? Do people leave their busy days, busy activities, busy offices to travel and just see what Kenya is about? This should be a wake-up call for all of us, that why has Kenya been elected?
We should celebrate.
We should celebrate,
what we have
by getting into those tourism parks, the attraction sites, and see what is there. What is this that is attracting there? The abroad people, they are attracting the different people to celebrate Kenya. So even us, this is a wake-up call for us to be able to do that. And actually this happened in Mombasa, where it's also one of the hottest places that terrorism has really hit hard.
I think this is something to celebrate, because for some time we've seen the massive exodus of young people to the west, or the western countries, all in search of greener pastures, and we do not celebrate what we have here in Kenya and the opportunities that comes with it. They have even forgotten the fact that even if you take a lizard from Africa to America, the lizard does not become a crocodile in America. That's something that young people seems to forget. But the fact is that Kenya has now been elected to the tourism body in the UN, so that's something to celebrate, and we do hope that the ministry in charge and also the CS, Foreign Affairs, will maintain that, because it's one thing being elected, another thing to perform in that capacity. At this point, we take a short break, but don't go far, because we'll be right back with more stories, a lot concerning what's happening in Kenya, the teacher strike. We have business stories, so stay tuned. We shall be back.